playing in major. It's a very important skill for native flute players. Why? Because many of the songs, most of the songs we hear in our culture are in a major key, and these instruments are in minor. They're in minor because when we begin our melodies from the bottom note, naturally puts us in a minor key. I think this is fantastic. I think that the fact that these are in major keys gets people away from trying to play songs that they know. Very common as children, your mark of success, the applause that you get from adults is because you can play something recognizable. So, as adults, the first thing we try to do on an instrument is play something that somebody can recognize, which gets us into sheet music, it gets us into playing the right notes and not expressing ourselves, not playing from the heart. This instrument is a fantastic instrument for improvisation and playing from the heart, and the fact that it's in a minor key naturally channels people into not trying to play songs they know, but playing from the heart, playing new melodies, playing what they feel like. So, if we want to play in major, if we want to play in that style, I was improvising there in that opening piece. If you want to play in that style, two very simple things. There's no new notes in what I was doing. Okay? I changed one thing, however. I began and ended my melody on this note, the bottom hole open. I've moved the root of my melody from all holes closed, which is normally where we start and end our melodies, to bottom hole open. And that changes everything, because instead of, we have a melody that is inherently major if we begin from this note. You notice it has a major feel, but I'm also doing something else. I'm playing in a lighter style. I'm playing as if we're conducting Mozart, and I'm including short notes, and I'm playing lightly in a Notice I use the bottom note. It's perfectly okay to use all the notes, but I am ending my melody. I'm beginning and ending my melody on bottom hole open. This is major, rooted on the third. You'll see it written as just major, or sometimes major R3, rooting to remind us we're rooting the melody, the tonic of the melody, root and tonic, same thing. We're rooting on this minor third note. Okay, so I'm actually going to give you one more note that really completes this major diatonic scale. Okay, and I'm going to run the notes and add one more note. Normally, the notes would be, right? And now I'm going to add one more note. How do I know I've got major? If I can play the song recognizably, Do a Deer. You're familiar with Do a Deer. That's major. I'm beginning here and I'm going up the scale, playing in diatonic major. Works very nicely. If I tried that on my bottom note, let's try that. Not Do a Deer. So if I begin here, I'm not in major. If I begin here, I'm in major. That's one of the three major scales we're going to look at. And I'm actually going to run it all the way up to the octave note from here. Not all flutes can do this, but I'm going to carry it up and play the full major diatonic scale by adding two more notes at the top end to our scale. The easiest ways to play in major is to play that major R3 scale. However, there's two other ways, And the reason we learn these different ways is sometimes we don't have the right key flute. If I'm looking to play a melody in a particular key to accompany somebody, okay, maybe this is the key that they're in, but maybe not. Maybe I have to fish around and look for a flute that has the right key, and sometimes I don't have 12 flutes because there's 12 possible keys. However, each flute has 3 easy-to-play major scales. I'm going to play the exact same key as on here on this flute. This is an A minor. I'm going to go down to a G minor, and I'm going to play a second major scale, and it begins here, 2 holes open. And we'll run all the notes in this scale. I'll do them slowly, and we'll put them up over here, the fingerings. They are different from what you're used to playing. It's a bit of a new experience, but very quickly you'll get to learn these notes and get comfortable with them. I'll run them slowly, and I'm just going to stay on the bottom register for this scale. Okay. And I'm going to include 2 more notes below that root note. So we actually have 6 notes out of the possible 7 in our major scale. They are the same notes as you saw on the A minor, because on the A minor we were starting with a higher flute. The A minor is a higher flute, and we're starting 1 note lower. Here we're starting 1 note higher, so they work out to be exactly the same. And I'm going to do that on a 3rd key flute. These are exactly the same notes. This is a C minor flute. Okay, I'm going to play exactly the same notes. First listen to the notes. It's an octave lower, but you'll recognize that they're the same notes. I'm beginning on the bottom note. What's going on here? I'm beginning on the bottom note. It shouldn't be major, but because I'm using different fingerings, and we'll put those fingerings up over here, I'm using different fingerings, we're getting a major scale starting from the bottom note. Here's the fingerings, very slowly. So there's 3 ways to play the major scale. You can play all of these 3 scales on any key flute, and you'll very quickly cover all possible keys, certainly all the common keys with the flutes you have. So enjoy it, put it to good use, flute on.